Hey everybody, looks like we are live. We made it to Saturday. By habit, I wrote down in the notification that it was going to be 9:30. Roy, how are you, sir? Good to see you, my friend. So Roy and I are experiencing wonderful 93-degree temperatures here in New Jersey. Hey Zeus, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. So glad you're here. Yeah, I was saying, I don't know what happened, but I'm so used to doing 9:30 for like 6-7 years. I don't know how long I've been doing it at 9:30. So at 8 o'clock, instead of hitting 8 o'clock, I wrote 9:30. So that kind of messed everyone up. So hopefully some of the people will see the correction. I sent out a correction email, so hopefully they'll get it. But we'll see. 9:30, they're going to be coming here like they're going to be kind of upset, but yeah, it threw me off too. I was like, what? Hey Steve, how you doing? So Steve got the correction email, so that's cool. Good to see you, Steve. So I'm so glad you're here, and we're going to work on this particular piece, so that's going to be fun. Hey Colette, great to see you. How are you doing today? It is currently 89 degrees here in my apartment. I'm afraid to look, but I'm going to look anyway. It is 85 degrees in my apartment. I have 1, 2, 3 air conditioners going, a fan, and I'm going to go get some water. Be right back. So I got myself some water, so cool. And so now it looks like we have a small group, a small but proud group. That's what we are. And so you might hear the air conditioning. That's going to be a staple to the live streams until about October 29th. So I got my pastel pencils here, right here. See that? All of them, which is really great. And we are going to go and get going. If hopefully people will sort of, file in, single file. That would be really nice. Let me see if I could. There we go. I like that, right? Just a little bit lighter, right? So, let's see. Make sure I have all my pastels in the right spots. So what I want to do is I'm going to start to come into some of the negative spaces. Let me find my picture of Katya. Now I always post Katya's music on my Facebook page, and she is just amazing. I just love the Franz Liszt she does. That piece is just amazing. I think it's called Love Song. In German it's something different. Of course it's different, but that is such a beautiful piece. She does it better than anybody, I think. And yes, Jesus, she is amazing. I heard her do a piece by Rachmaninoff that was just out of this world, and then yesterday I posted a kind of a really cool piece by Chopin, which I really loved. Hey Mr. Garcia, great to see you, my friend. How are you today? All right, so happy to see you. How you been, sir? And so glad you're here. So it must be, were you off today, sir? Because I know the city was really scorching today. Hopefully you weren't having to work today. I'm going to put in some of this light color in here. I know I said I was going to work in her hair. I am. I'm just a little sidetracked right now. Just a little sidetracked. Oh, that's true. You're here. So you're off. That's good. Oh, you're at work as you... Oh, I see. Yes. So it's a hot day. Yes. And you see, as I come in with the white, I'll zoom in to show you. As we come with the white, we start evening out the pastel texture. Watch as I come over here with the white, how that kind of evens out. Hey John, great to see you. How you been? Nope, you're just on time, sir. And just evening this out. So when you go over this with white pastel, it's almost like those who worked in colored pencils. It's kind of like burnishing, or as Drew Blair calls it, buffering the color. And you see how we kind of even out that color a little bit by just going over with the white like this. There's so many techniques that you can borrow from other mediums when working in pastel, and that is like really, really wonderful, you know. Right here, we'll move up just a tad. Right here we can just burnish this color. See that? That's another technique that you can do in pastel. In pastel you can do every technique. You can do airbrush technique, you can do watercolor technique. You just have to know how to manipulate the medium. I've been doing this since I was a kid, so safe to say I know how to manipulate this stuff. And as we do that, we can actually start to put some light in the shadows here. Because there are no shadows, there's light and there's less powerful light. And less powerful light, less powerful light. That's basically how light works. It's not light, there's not two worlds. One world is light, one world is shadow. Nope, it's all the same world. It's just the light is less powerful. And that's what happens. Oh, fantastic, Chris. We got to talk. So I hear you love working in pastels. Definitely. So I love to see some of your pastel work, and maybe we could exchange notes, so to speak. Yeah, you're going to love pastel. Harvey Dinnerstein, which is my mentor and teacher at the National Academy School of Fine Arts, one of the best pastel painters ever, he said that working in pastels is like an extension of your fingertips, and I concur 100%. Let's zoom out. So you see how we can really soften. But what I want to do is I want to start putting in some of the negative spaces in her hair. See that? So I put a note on Katya's Twitter page that I'm doing this live stream. So let's hope that Katya will come on here and hopefully she'll love it. That would be so great if she commented, you know. Very, very big fan of hers. It would just be a thrill of quite a big thrill, you know, thrill of the year, right? Last couple of years. Jesus says when he grows up he wants to be me. Oh, look at this. David says, Tim, I won the giveaway on YouTube live feed. Oh, wow. So I won a painting by David. That's fantastic. I'm excited. Thank you, David. That is really cool. I never win anything, so I appreciate that. Oh, that's exciting, isn't it, guys? I got one of David's really great paintings, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's exciting. That is great. Good thing I put myself into running. I did it last minute. I didn't see his message until the end to enter. Oh, fantastic. Get the pick, even better. Wow. That's amazing. Oh, look at that. Jesus won 25% off, or $25 off. I'm not sure. That's great. So Jesus won too, so we're pretty lucky today. That's great. And okay, so now let's see if we can start working on our hair a little bit. Would be good to put my glasses on. What do you think? Definitely. And let's see. So I want like a dark brown, right? So her hair is like a beautiful dark brown, and then over here you have these beautiful kind of sepia highlights. So let's look. So these are the dark browns that I'm thinking of. I have by Pastel. This one's called Umber. We have by this is Credit Color called Umber. This one's a little darker. This one's by Faber-Castell 1121-280. And then we have the second one, which is called Bister. But I do like this one, which is by Faber-Castell, and it is 1121-280. So let's go ahead and start working on her hair here a little bit. So you see, this is the hard edge from the underpainting, so I'm going to actually go over it and kind of soften her edge, soften up these edges of her hair. I think that's important. Oh, thank you so much, John. John gave me a congratulations. I appreciate that. So I am starting with my mentorship program. If you want, I will teach pastel as well. So that is something that I am opening up. So if you want to learn pastel, you don't have to be an airbrush artist. If you are, I have great techniques that work with airbrush and pastel together. Or if you want to go and do pure pure pastel, I offer that as well. Now, if you study pastel from me, you're studying with someone who is a signature member of the Pastel Society of America, who has been painting in pastel since the 80s, who has won probably for my pastels probably about 40 or so national, international awards throughout the world. And so I think $100 to study with me for a month in the mentorship program is really what, you know, if I start advertising this in the pastel world, it's going to be probably filled up really quick. I only have 10 openings left because I have 10 students now with the airbrush program. But if you wanted to go into the airbrush or pastel program, there's only 10 slots left. Once I hit 10 slots, since they are one-on-one and they are one-on-one classes, right? So you get one-on-one class every week, and that's via Google Classroom. And I've been doing it a long time. How many years now? It's going on, doing the online classes over 3 years now. So that's exciting. So the way I do online classes, I feel I'm one of the best. The way I have my camera work, I also use digital artwork and everything. It is by far, I feel, one of the technically one of the best one-on-one classes out there, just $100 a month. Steve says, doing your mentorship, the best thing he's ever done. He wants to learn everything. Thank you, Steve. Steve's one of my amazing students, and he's from the UK. So I'm here in New Jersey. He's in the UK. We meet once a week, and we study together. You know, I teach him everything from digital art to airbrush, photography, everything that's going to make someone a well-rounded artist. And Colette is also in my mentorship program, and she says the mentorship program is second to none. I appreciate that. And Jesus says yes indeed. And I always appreciate the support I get from my students, because without them none of this is possible. You know, I learn just as much from my students as my students learn from me. So, and I really, when I say it's a mentorship program, it really is that in its purest definition. I take my students under my wing, and so my education is 8 years of art school in New York City. Studied with some of the most amazing teachers ever, amazing artists ever. So I give that to you guys. So like I said, there's only 10 spots open, and now it's open for pastel as well as open for airbrush. And also we're working with airbrush underpaintings. So if you know airbrush, this is the only place where you're going to get it. Nowhere on the internet are you going to get something like this. So I'm really excited to offer it. But you know, and I was also thinking of raising the prices, but I think that's the beauty of this program, is that the price is so low. And the price is so low because I want it to be the best value out there, and that's what I'm hoping. I don't know how long I can hold out doing this, but you know, when you guys go ahead and purchase the airbrush and do super chat stickers and all those other things, it helps me to keep those prices low. So I offer a mentorship program, which is really probably the lowest thing out there. So definitely think about it. If you have any questions, you could email me, or you can contact me at inkflingers.com. Right? Just go to inkflingers.com and you can definitely contact me. Let me see if I can get that URL for you, okay? And I'll just do a link to the mentorship program. And we will come over here and we'll put that in just like that. So go ahead, if you have any questions, it's right there in the description. If you are watching this when it's recorded, you can just click on that link and it'll take you right there. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or ask me now, and I'll be more than happy to help. In this day when everything is going up, my prices have not gone up, and they're ridiculously low. So anyway, let's get back to our painting here. The painting of Katya. And I'm just going to continue working on the hair a little bit, right? Enjoying working on her hair. Now I'm using the black, which is good. There we go. Mr. John, how you doing? How's everything? So glad to see you. John was under the weather. It looks like he is doing well. Lots of prayers. I'm so glad you're here, my friend. Oh, thanks, Jesus. I appreciate you, sir. So, how are you feeling? I know you're not feeling all that hot, but how's everything going? So excited to see you, my friend. So extremely excited to see you. John is one of my students. He's a very talented guy and really enjoy working with him. Oh man, so glad you're here. That is so exciting. I'm going to use the Bister and I'm going to just shape Katya's eyebrow a little better. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, see if I could sharpen it. The credit color, they have a hard time sharpening, so I'm going to preemptive not sharpen it because I know it will break if I put it through its normal paces. So I have to look for a razor blade, and I think I'm going to find a razor blade in my box here. So here's my tackle box. Every artist should have a tackle box, right? Not to go fishing, but to have all your little tools that you'll need throughout your travels. So I'll have this, and I'm just going to kind of whittle, right? Be a whittler. And you'll hear me whittling away. I don't know if you can hear that. But if I don't do it this way, what's going to happen is that it'll keep breaking, and before you know it, my pastel pencil will be 2 inches. And that's not good. So cool, so I did do this. Look at that, nice and sharp, which is fantastic. We're going to work on our lips a little bit. So let's come over here. Oh, you got the IV out of your hand. That is so great. Oh, thank you, John. John says she looks marvelous. Jesus says, how about the electric pencil sharpener works well for Pit Pastel, Jesus, but for the credit color, it's definitely a no-go because the credit colors are quite brittle and it will break. So this one I just did. This one works pretty well through the pencil sharpener, but you have to be wary, right? And so let's go ahead. So I have my Bister with credit color, and I'm going to come over here. And I'm just going to make her lips fuller. Her lips are a little more full than what I have, so we'll adjust that. So I'm going to be looking for a kind of a orangey sepia, going more towards the orange than the brown in sepia. Sepia basically is orange and black, right? And so if it's more towards the orange and less towards the black, that's going to be your sepia. It's more towards the black and less towards the orange, it's going to be brown. So me and Roy figured that out in class today, didn't we, sir? So yeah, more with the blades, you do get the pastel pencils at least do last a bit longer, I have to say, because the sharpener really tears them apart. So see that? I'm just making her upper lip a little more full as it is. And then right here, maybe we can put a little more saturation here, a little over here. It's a little more full on the lower lip. So how are we going to do it, right? That's the question. How are we going to do it? First thing is I want to use kind of a light, kind of fleshy color. The color I'm going to use is Pit Pastel, and it's 1122 1122188. Let's do that, shall we? And we're going to put a little emphasis here, but we're going to come in with a lighter color afterwards. You'll see. Because with pastels, we have to kind of we have to glaze, right? And you see how we're glazing one color over another, and that's what we have to do. Still have to do that 1 second rule that we do in Airbrush. It still applies. Ah, definitely. I appreciate that. Hit that like button, as John says. And thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So John is doing well, thank God. You know, he's a tough guy. John's a tough guy. Again, just in time to do all that stuff he does. John lives upstate New York, right on the lake, so he does all lake stuff and all that, which is really cool. So he's going to be in top shape just in time for that stuff, I know. See how we're pulling this kind of fleshy color, and do the same over here. See, you're glazing color, so it's a lot different than, you know, just painting in the color. We're arriving at the color, much like when we paint in Airbrush, when we do just the India ink, we arrive at the value. The same thing's happening here. So we're going to glaze over with this kind of more dark color here. This is going to give us that volume that was missing before, right? It's a nice small group, so as God says, don't despise the day of small beginnings, and that's what this is. So I'm very happy that we have a small group today. So that's a plus, not a negative. And so I'm going to come back in with this Vista color, which we all know and love. And we're just going to, and that's by Cretacolor. And you see, now we're going to get that volume, right? This part of the lip is actually tucked underneath, so the light is hitting it, but it's bouncing off of her chin most likely before it gets there. So if the light has to bounce off of something, which they call reflected light, that just means it's coming from the same light source, but it has further to go, right? Oh, thank you, John, definitely. So John says, do we call this a drawing or a painting? Funny you should say that. So I have a real strong opinion on that. And over the years, I've been, you know, hearing a lot of oil painters say, oh, that's not really painting, that's like a pastel drawing. So if we go to the Webster's Dictionary of painting, is applying pigment to a substrate or surface, right? Colored pigment. And nowhere in the actual definition does it have anything to do with brushes or oils or anything like that. So in my opinion, since we're just using pigment and the pigment itself, I think this is the purest form of painting than anything. So pastel is the purest form of painting. Now, if you're just doing it like, you know, monochromatic, like one color, then that could be a drawing. That could be considered a drawing. But, you know, as I always say, there's a fine line between drawing and painting, isn't there? And because you're solving the same issues. But definitely, pastel is actually the most purest form of painting out there. And I've been doing pastel paintings since 1988. That's a long time. So that is a very long time. I know it's kind of impossible to feel that because I'm 39 years old. How's that mathematically possible, right? It's just not. It's totally weird. Yes, I defy the law of math. There we go. And so you see we can just kind of sculpt this, and now we can come in here and kind of bring some dimension to those lips here. And it's all glazing, right? Now this is my surface of marble dust and gesso, and then it's applied with a roller. But one thing you'll see is that I can apply unlimited layers of pastel on this, which no pastel paper or board that you can buy can boast that. But this surface, unlimited. I've never got to the point where it was overloaded. I've had students where they overloaded it, but not me. So let's see. So we're going to go ahead and start putting in some of these lights in here, and then we're going to glaze that. So in her chin, just like that, and then we'll just zoom out a bit and see how we filled out her lips a little bit. And then I'm going to start blending in a little bit. That's my train. I don't know if you can hear the train in the background. Bring this down. So it's true, as my teacher Harvey Dinnerstein said, that pastels are like extensions of your fingertips. So it is the closest thing from drawing and painting at the same time, definitely. And once you learn it, you'll love it, you know, especially if I teach you. I haven't taught anyone pastels where they haven't fell in love with it and basically painted in pastels continually afterwards. The learning curve with pastels is a lot faster with my teaching than in Airbrush, although I do teach my students in Airbrush do learn very quickly, but I definitely have just a very interesting technique that really helps students to excel really quickly. Oh, so it's a little bit darker over here, so I'm going to take this color right here, which is the 1122-188, and let's just give this a little more color here, and then we'll come back in with the 1122-132. These are both with Pit Pastel. So you see, even though it's a sepia kind of color, in this painting, there's a lot of flesh tones in here. You know, your typical flesh tones that you would see in a regular painting. You see a lot of that. And so, and you have some really deep reds, so it's not just a sepia painting by any means. And right here, we can see that I was a little overzealous here. So let's get that really nice yellow. You know that yellow that I always talk about? You know. I say it every week in these pastel demonstrations. There it is. Remember, if you can't find something, where is it? Underneath something. Always and forever, right? Or behind something. But there's a third thing. So it would be like this white cap, right? I'll put it right here, and it will be hard to see without the cast shadow, of course. So if I get rid of that cast shadow, you see it's hard to find that cap. So that's what happens too. So those are like the three main things. Do that checklist when you can't find it. You can't find something. And this is a beautiful color. This is 1122-103, which is amazing. You'll find when you're doing pastels, you are going to have very much your favorite pastels that you use a lot. And that's normal. And then we'll come back down here. Okay, so that really light orangey color, right? Let's use this light orangey color here. Put this over here. Even more orangey. That's a little on the yellowy side, right? So we have this color right here, which is by Cretacolor. This one's called Permanent Dark Yellow. So still on the yellow. This is more like an Indian yellow. Don't like it. So sometimes you don't know if you like it until it's actually on the surface. So here we have 1122-113, and this is by Pit Pastel. And you can see, okay, that's much more like it. Kind of like a fire color. She's fiery in this portrait. And let's see where else we can find this fiery color here. So I like when I find a color and I try to echo it. So look around to where that color is again. And that's how you get unity in your portraits, is that you are using the same colors throughout the painting. And that's going to really go far, right? So let's lower the value a bit here. We're going to take this orangey color, put it right here by her arm. Zoom out just a bit. And there's that fleshy color again. Where is it? Let's see. Kind of like this one. this fleshy tone over here. Let me see if I can lower the we definitely need to lower the contrast a little bit here. And we'll go to, let's see, right here. Lower the contrast a little bit. Right, that's a little better. Let's see if we can lower that brightness. Just calm it down. There we go. So we can see some more color, right? So I think that's good. And let's see what we can do with the exposure. Okay. That's a little better. I think that's a little closer. Save and close. Okay, good. Okay, very good. So now we're coming here with this color. Let me bring Katya back, my reference. And then we have a little more fleshy color coming over here in her sternum. And let's take this like kind of fiery color over here. Bring this over. As you can see, I move around a lot with different colors when I'm painting in color and pastel. Color should be two things, scientific and intuitive at the same time, you know, which is really important. You know, you want to have that intuitive nature to your work, but you want it to be founded in scientific thought, right, in color theory. But still need a little bit of that, right, a little bit of that that intuitive nature of color. Because that comes from your eye, right? Your eye sees color differently than my eye, than anyone else's eye, than Rembrandt's eye. Everyone's eyes are seeing color very, very subjectively. So just like when I'm doing airbrush, a lot of times I'll be following the grain of the skin. Those who take my airbrush classes know I talk about that. So you see how I'll follow the grain of the skin with this sort of mid-tone detail here. Just it gives the feeling of dimension, added dimension. Hey, what's up there? How you doing, Patrick? Great to see you, my friend. Ah, so cool to see you. Yes, you made it. Perfect. That's great. Were you working today, Patrick? Patrick's one of my students, very talented person. Just, you know, and that's what, you know, it's very interesting. Many of my students have a lot of really really cool, like, passions and everything like that, and so that's cool. One of Patrick's his career is a chef, and just a lot of other things that he does, which is really interesting. So all the different passions that we have will always help our painting. And you'd be surprised, you know, I'm finding that photography is crucial for painting. I also, we have Brad in Canada. He's a student and he's a woodworker, and that passion is really showing to be a really great dividend in his work, in his airbrush painting, which is really fantastic to see. So everything that we do really comes back to serve us in our painting. But for me, I always consider painting to be a jealous mistress. So for me, I can have other passions, but you know, painting will always tell me this is the main one for me. It doesn't have to be the main one for, you know, you can definitely do great art. It doesn't have to be the main thing that you love. But for me, that's always been the case. But yeah, Patrick's very talented. So it's great working with him. Yes, definitely. So Patrick says he thinks having passions we develop more acute attention to detail. Definitely, because you can bring the how, you know, you can actually bring some of that discipline and the, like you say, the attention to detail from something else, and really works well. It's like speaking a foreign language. Once you master a foreign language, then other languages are much easier. I find that, definitely. So now we worked on that, so let's go ahead and do a little blending with those packing peanuts. So I have to go get them. Where are they? Here they are. Just get a handful. Bam, just like that. And so we have a lot. Let me get these off Katya's face there. Sorry about that. And let's see. So now we're going to start blending a little bit. Very gentle. I'm going to start with the lightest lights, and I'm going to blend that into the midtones. And there's a method to my madness. We're going to stay with the whites, and then we're going to go into the midtones, and then we're going to go into and blend out the darks, okay? And same thing here. We're going to very lightly blend that out. Guacamole cheese puffs. Exactly. They're very rare, Patrick. That's funny. They do look like guacamole cheese. That's actually a great idea. We should definitely contact the people who make the Cheetos. And has that ever been invented, Patrick? Because that just sounds amazing. Sounds like something I'll try. And so I'm going to continue just with the lightest lights, and make sure I don't go into temptation and want to go ahead and blend in the darks and the mediums. You want to keep this pretty clean. And as we're doing it, we're going to be looking with the 1 second rule, making sure we are following the forms of Katya. Make this a little bit lighter. There we go. Yeah, we definitely got to get those guacamole cheese puffs on the market. Yes, definitely. Patent that name. That sounds incredible, actually. No such thing as a little salsa in his book, John says. And we're going to work on her face here, and we're going to blend in. Now, if it gets overly saturated, you can always use another side, or these are so inexpensive, you can just grab another one and throw this one away. Let's zoom in so I can show you how we kind of change this. Pastel and Airbrush are so similar that, you know, it's great that to combine the two. They really are made to be working with each other. And they're made for portraiture, you know? Yes, exactly. Sell those rights to, and then you'd be living large, Patrick. The Cheetos tycoon. Now I'm going to put this little guy aside, and I'm going to come in. We're going to start hitting those midtones, right? So let's do that. And so where are the midtones? Let's see. I'm going to probably start right here in her neck area. So we're going to go from the midtones into the lights. We're not going to do the midtones into the darks. That comes later. And as we're working this, we're just paying attention. Still do that 1 second rule. And we'll zoom out just a bit. Zoom in. There we go. Do some of these midtones over here. And I'm always looking at my reference, always doing the 1 second rule. Very crucial. Oh, so Patrick says he smoked a bunch of salsa ingredients and made fresh salsa with them a few times. Wow, smoked salsa, that's incredible. Wow, that sounds amazing. I do love salsa and smoked salsa. I did make some salsa on my own, and that was always much fresher and tastes much better than the salsa that you buy in the jar, right? When you make the fresh ingredients. And so right now we're just doing the so if it gets oversaturated like that one, just grab another one. They're inexpensive. And now we'll just continue. And we can actually, you know, do this and make them more soft edged or hard edged, right? Which is really good. Oh, so these are actually packing peanuts that you can purchase at the at the UPS store here in the United States. What makes them different is that they're malleable, right? You can twist them, you can rip them apart, you can get points with them, right? And so you can be like really specific, and they're really fantastic. Other packing peanuts just don't work, so it has to be these. They have them in white. I see them in white often. So if they have like a UPS store or something like that where they do shipping for those UK peeps out there, definitely check it out. It's really great, you know. Oh, you see them in white, yes. So these are packing peanuts, yes. And they're really inexpensive. I think I got a big sack of them for like what, $8 or something like that. And that lasts you, and I paint a lot, so that lasts me quite a bit. I would say probably lasts me a good year. So that's probably one of the best deals you'll get on art supplies. Never buy those things where they have it, where they have like the art supply companies will give you these little blenders. Don't use them. They're garbage. Plus, they're money makers for these big corporations. And you see how I'm blending in. So it's really very inexpensive to start in pastel. You can pretty much start with the 80 count or the 60 count of the Pit Pastel, and then you get a 72 count of the credit color, and you can do a whole pastel painting just doing an airbrush underpainting and then going over it with these pastel pencils. This whole painting has been done with pastel pencils. So the way I teach pastel right now, in the beginning, we just do pastel pencils. And so that's, to me, that's really great because you know, you don't want a huge investment. So even watching here, you know, is going to really help. It's going to help you to use this medium, be proficient at it, and it'll be great. So definitely I'm going to continue doing these Saturdays, God willing. And so it will be a great resource. Plus on the Wednesday nights, which is really fantastic, I do the airbrush. Oh, Patrick says he ordered a few things from the store. Maybe it can help offset the shipping costs. Ah, thank you, my friend. Yes, I did get that order, and I'm fulfilling that for you, and I really appreciate that, Patrick. So, Patrick, that was really cool of you. Thank you, sir. Ah, Jesus says Katya is coming out very nice. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. So, we're getting to the very end. So, this live stream is 1 hour, and which is great because with the pastel, it'll keep you guys and girls maybe wanting more, right? So maybe entice you to go out and purchase some pastel pencils, and you definitely won't regret it. It's really amazing. Ah, thank you. Patrick says it's very smooth. Hey, Nameless, how you doing? Oh, you came at the end, but it's good to see you, my friend. Oh, man, I hope your week gets better. Well, your week's almost over, but I hope your weekend's really good, my friend. Sorry to hear you had a rough week. But good to see you, Nameless, as always. So thanks for coming and hanging out. So we have 3 minutes, so I always give you guys. So now we're going to go from the darks into the mid-tone, right? So that's the way to do it. But how much easier it is to blend with this than any other medium out there, right? Doing this with the airbrush would not be as peaceful, I should say. So I have not been painting publicly in pastel for quite some time. I still was painting, but now I'm going to start painting publicly again and doing live streams and exhibiting. And so think of it as you know, just me showing another side of my art. But this is definitely something that I've been doing for many years, so I'm really happy to, you know, share it with you. Oh, thank you, Steve. Steve says she's looking amazing. John says don't forget to hit the like button, which is really cool. And it's almost at the end. 8 p.m. next Saturday, definitely. And so thank you so much, Jesus. That's really cool. I appreciate it. Oh, Nameless had a falling out with a family business and was kicked out of where you were staying, but at least I'm not stressed out at it. Oh man, I hope things get better. I'm so sorry for that stress. I hate hearing that. And take care, Colette and Clutch, Patrick, Jesus, John, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Roy, John, I'm so glad you're back. Stephen, you know, and Chris Garcia. So you can see we had a lot of fun today. Look how beautiful she's coming out, right? Beautiful model, beautiful painting, right? And so I'm excited. And so next week we'll finish this painting, or as far as I will, and then we'll start from the very beginning, right? So everybody, it's 8:59, so that's really good. So I hope everyone has the most amazing weekend, right? It's well, today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. Here in New Jersey, we're going to have 91 or 92 degrees, something horrifying like that, you know. Raul, how you doing? You came by at the end, but it's good to see you, my friend. So Raul, thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you guys next week, Wednesday night at 9:30, the Airbrush live stream, and then next week at 8 o'clock will be the David, good to see you as well, will be and Patrick, always a pleasure. 9:30 will be the Airbrush. So take care, everybody. Have a great week.